Hello, my name is Florent Lafarge from INRIA. Today I will talk about data structures for piecewise planar geometry. Reconstructing objects and scenes under the form of dense surface meshes is now a standard process with, for instance, efficient commercial solutions from multi-view stereo imagery and laser scanning. Reconstructing structured objects with concise polygon meshes, similarly to computer-aided design models, is however far behind. Structured objects are often an assembling of regular geometric shapes. For instance, a building is usually well represented by a piecewise planar geometry. Measuring the quality of such models does not only take into account geometric accuracy, but requires additional criteria such as model complexity, regularity preservation, and semantic awareness. In this talk, we address the problem of converting 3D point clouds generated by laser scanning or multi-view stereo imagery into concise polygonal meshes in an automated manner. We address this problem with several objectives. First, the output mesh must approximate well the input points. Then, the output mesh must be composed of a small number of facets, ideally just enough facets given a user-defined tolerance approximation error. The output mesh must be a watertight surface, free of self-intersections. The algorithm should also be fast, scalable, and proceed with a low memory consumption. Finally, the algorithm must be fully automated and takes only few intuitive user-defined parameters. Existing methods only partially fulfill these objectives. The traditional way to produce concise polygonal meshes is to first reconstruct a smooth surface from the input points and then simplify it. The first step can rely upon mature algorithms from the geometry processing toolbox, such as the popular Poisson reconstruction method. The second step simplifies the dense triangular mesh into a coarser mesh by, for instance, edge collapse or variational shape approximation. Such simplification methods are in general effective, but they require a geometrically and topologically accurate input mesh to deliver faithful results. Unfortunately, such a requirement is rarely guaranteed from real-world data, which are often highly corrupted by noise, outliers, or occlusions. A second solution consists in assembling planar shapes previously detected from the input points. Planar shapes, which are sets of inlier points to which a plane is fitted, can be detected by region growing, ransacked, or more advanced techniques. The shape assembling traditionally consists in decomposing the 3D space bounding the data into a partition of polyhedral cells aligned with the shapes. The output mesh is then extracted by labeling the cells as inside or outside the object. This approach produces concise polygon meshes, but it's too compute and memory intensive to deal with complex objects and scenes. This efficiency problem comes from the space partitioning data structure that decomposes the space into non-overlapping polyhedral cells. Existing methods use plane arrangements and binary space partitioning trees in which the 3D domain is exhaustively sliced by the supporting planes of all the shapes. Such a mechanism has a high algorithmic complexity. It can hardly handle more than a few hundred planar shapes in practice on a standard computer. Moreover, it generates a high number of cells, and most of them are not relevant from a geometric point of view. To understand what would be a good space partitioning data structure to address this problem, we can have a look to what have been successfully used for smooth surface reconstruction. The most successful data structure is probably the Delaunay triangulations, which, in 3D, partition the space into tetrahedra whose vertex constitute the input points. Vu and colleagues is one of the first works to have exploited the potential of Delaunay triangulation in vision for multi-view stereo. While this visual result does not look impressive today, this was a quite big step ahead 11 years ago in terms of accuracy and scalability. Delaunay triangulations actually possess several important properties that make this possible. First, they are data adaptive as the cells are built by linking the input points. Then, in contrast to octrees, for instance, a Delaunay triangulation is resolution independent and does not require any parameter to fix the level of fineness of the space partition. Indeed, a Delaunay triangulation is based on a simple property about the spatial proximity of the points. No point must be inside the circumspheres of Delaunay tetrahedra. Another key element is the efficiency to build the partition. A Delaunay triangulation of several million points can be built in a few seconds only in an incremental manner. A Delaunay triangulation is also easy to manipulate and operate on, with efficient query operations such as the search of the cells along a visibility ray. Last important property, the geometry of the partition is generic. A triangular surface mesh can be directly extracted from a Delaunay triangulation. This is not true for regular grids or octree-based data structures for which a marching cube algorithm is required in practice. Such a processing often produces meshes with low geometric isotropy. Coming back to our problem, the important lesson of this is that the planar shapes should intersect based on a simple property about the spatial proximity of the planar shapes, without resolution parameter, and so that the output partition is generic. A simple and natural idea in line with that is to make planar shapes grow until colliding with each other and forming a polyhedral partition. It gives lighter yet meaningful partitions with a lower algorithmic complexity than plane arrangement and BSP trees. This idea can be formulated within a kinetic framework introduced in computational geometry by Gibas in the 80s, originally to track physical objects in continuous motion. From this configuration of only 146 planar shapes, for instance, the standard partitioning built 190,000 polyhedral cells in 11 minutes using 6.4 GB memory. In contrast, such a kinetic partition is composed of only 1,000 polyhedral cells and is built in less than 2 minutes with less than 200 MB memory. Before explaining how such a data structure can be built efficiently in 3D, let's see how it works in 2D and how it can be applied to image problems. In 2D, the analogous problem consists in extending 2D line segments in the plane in order to create a partition of polygons. The underlying structure is a dynamic planar graph. When line segments collide, the complexity of the graph evolves with typically the insertion of new vertex and edges so that it remains planar. The kinetic data structure is composed of several elements. First, a set of geometric primitives whose coordinates are continuous functions of time. In our case, in 2D, line segments that extend at constant speed. In the illustration, points A and B denote the extremities of the initial line segment at time t equals 0. M is their midpoint, pk and pk prime are the extremities of the line segment at time t. The second element is certificates, which are a set of functions testing the intersection of a primitive with other ones at time t. Such functions return 0 when a collision occurs between two primitives. In this case, geometric updates must be operated on the primitives so that the dynamic structure remains a planar graph. The last key element is a queue of events, which is a list of times indicating when a certificate is equal to 0. A kinetic simulation then consists in unstacking this queue until no primitive moves anymore. The algorithm works as follows. We consider as input a set of line segments. First, we initialize the kinetic data structure with a planar graph by inserting points where two line segments intersect. Then, we initialize the queue of events. While the queue is not empty, we pop the two primitives that collide. We call as source primitive the one that hits, and the target primitive the hit one. To decide whether the source primitive should extend on the other side of the target primitive, we test a crossing condition function that we detail later. The kinetic data structure is then updated by first inserting the collision point in the graph and by inserting new edges between this collision point and the last collision point of the source primitive and of the target primitive. If the crossing condition is not valid, we stop the propagation of the source primitive. Then we update the queue of events. When the queue is empty, the kinetic data structure does not evolve anymore. The planar graph is then converted into a polygonal partition by removing unnecessary vertex. We define the crossing condition function as valid if the source primitive has collided a number of times lower than a user-specified parameter k. The higher its value, the more cells in the output partition. For image problems, we can add a second condition. The prolongation of the source primitive on the other side of the target primitive should align well with high image gradients. This data-driven condition allows us to better partition regular structures in images, like here with the building contours. This algorithm can be used, for instance, to oversegment images with polygonal partitions, which are geometrically richer than traditional superpixels. This requires the detection of line segments in the input image, typically with fitting mechanisms such as the LSD detector that align the line segments along high image gradient. Such a method is particularly adapted to the oversegmentation of satellite images, with meaningful polygons capturing both large components and scene-unique structures contained in urban scenes, such as facades, building corners, or roads. For highly irregular scenes, such as this residential area, it can be interesting to regularize the line segments according to geometric relationships such as parallelism, orthogonality, or collinearity. This allows us to produce a lighter and more structure-aware partition. In terms of performance, the algorithm can process a standard image in typically 0.1 seconds. The kinetic partitioning of hundreds of thousand line segments can be performed in a minute. We compared our algorithm with other segmentation methods, the superpixel method ERS, and the polygon-based methods Voronoi and SneakPoly. While these methods are designed to deliver homogeneously sized regions, our partitions combine large polygons capturing homogeneous areas and thin polygons describing linear structures as the legs of the dragonfly. For an identical number of output regions, our algorithm produces more meaningful polygons as those capturing the windows of the facade image. Our algorithm outperforms polygon partitioning methods Voronoi and SneakPoly on the Berkeley dataset on boundary recall while approaching the scores of the best superpixel methods. Because we allow polygons to be large for capturing big homogeneous areas, our algorithm offers a better compromise between boundary precision and boundary recall than other methods when recall is higher than 0.85. These polygonal partitions can also be used to capture objects by low complexity polygons. Starting from a kinetic partition and a rough semantic probability map describing the objects of interest in the image, this can be done with a refinement process consisting in locally splitting and merging the cell of the partition, guided by an energy function. By construction, output polygons are guaranteed to recover the entire image domain without intersection and not contain adjacent cells with the same semantic label. We propose an energy function for measuring the quality of a semantic polygonal partition X. The fidelity term penalizes when face labels do not agree with the semantic probabilities and when edges misalign with image gradients. The complexity term encourages low complexity polygons with fewer edges. The two terms are balanced by a parameter lambda. Increasing lambda produces more compact yet less accurate polygons. Overall, we need to solve a discrete optimization problem. Inspired by geometry processing algorithm, we explore the large solution space via an iterative mechanism based on local operators that split and merge faces of the partition in tandem. The merge operator simply turns two adjacent faces into one by removing common edges. The split operator first detects a set of line segments which are extended to segment the face into subfaces. Adjacent subfaces with the same semantic label are immediately merged. The algorithm starts from an initial semantic partition associated with a priority queue. The exploration mechanism iteratively refines the partition in a greedy manner. The algorithm stops when there is no operation that lowers the energy. We compare our algorithm to two families of methods: vectorization pipelines and cell grouping methods. Same probability maps are provided as input to all methods. While the accuracy of most methods drops quickly at high compression rates, our algorithm preserves high accuracy. Here, a visual comparison at low and high compression rates. Unlike other methods, whose output can easily drift from the object silhouettes, our approach follows object contours despite the decrease in polygon complexity. We also tested our algorithm on a dataset with multiple object classes. Our algorithm remains robust on the multi-class segmentation task. The probability maps are often ambiguous, as we can see here between the lady face and the couch. Our algorithm achieves to capture the silhouettes of these objects with low complexity polygons. Our algorithm has been also tested on the building extraction task. When associated with a standard unit, our algorithm obtains the best average precision and average recall on the Crowd AI mapping challenge. This means that a two-step pipeline with our method as polygonalization step can outperform task-specific neural networks such as Polymapper. The method is designed to be generic, with here some visual results on the vectorization of floor maps and line drawings. We will now see how such kinetic data structures can be extended to 3D and used to reconstruct concise polygon meshes. The general algorithm works as follows. We first detect planar shapes that approximate the object. We then extend their convex hulls until colliding with each other within a kinetic framework. This operation efficiently decomposes the bounding box of the object into a low number of convex polyhedra from which the polygon mesh is extracted. Shape detection is performed by standard algorithms implemented in the Seagull library. Two intuitive user parameters are required. First, a fitting tolerance that specifies the maximal distance of an input point to its associated planar shape. Increasing it gives a coarser approximation of the object. The second parameter is the minimal shape size that specifies how large a group of inlier points must be to be considered as a planar shape. Increasing this parameter progressively removes the smallest planar elements. These two parameters directly determine the level of abstraction of the output mesh. The second step is the key ingredient of our work. We propose a kinetic data structure that collides polygons in 3D to form a polyhedral partition. In contrast to the 2D kinetic data structure presented earlier, we consider here as a set of primitives polygons that grow by uniform scaling. Certificates play the same role. They test the intersection of a primitive with other ones at time t. When such functions return 0, geometric updates must be operated on the primitives to make them free of intersection again. These functions rely on a polygon-to-polygon distance in 3D, which cannot be computed as efficiently than the point-to-line distance in the 2D case presented before. We detail later how we address this obstacle. The queue of events also lists and sorts times indicated when a certificate is equal to 0. The algorithm works as follows. First, we initialize the kinetic data structure with a set of intersection-free polygons. We consider as polygons the convex hulls of the detected planar shapes. The non-intersection-free polygons are decomposed by cutting operations along the intersection lines with the other polygons. This generates the creation of sliding vertex that are moving along the intersection lines and frozen vertex that are kept fixed. We then populate the queue of events by computing and sorting in ascending order the times of collision. While the queue is not empty, we pop the source and the target primitives that collide. 4 cases of collision are possible depending on the nature of the vertex or edges that collide. To decide whether the source polygon should extend on the other side of the target polygon, we test a crossing condition function that we detail later. The kinetic data structure is then updated with the insertion of sliding and frozen vertex in the source primitive for cases A, B, and C, and with a split of the 2 primitives for case D. If the crossing condition is valid, a new polygon that extends the source primitive on the other side of the target primitive is added for case A and B. Then we update the queue of events. When the queue is empty, the kinetic data structure does not evolve anymore. The output polygons are composed of frozen vertex only and form a partition of convex polyhedra. We define the crossing condition function as valid if the source primitive has collided a number of times lower than a user-specified parameter, or if relevant input points omitted during shape detection can be found in the other side of the target primitive. This data-driven condition allows us to recover the geometry when some small planar shapes, missed during shape detection, belong to a repetitive structure such as, here, the ramparts of the castle. The efficiency, stability, and scalability of our kinetic data structure relies on several important implementation details. First, to avoid the expensive computation of the collision times in the 3D space, we reformulate the 3D collision problems as n-collaborative propagations of polygons in 2D controlled by a global queue of events. To reduce memory consumption and processing times, we restrict the number of collisions per vertex in the queue of events to 3, and insert new collisions on the fly if necessary. Then, all distances and times of collisions are computed with rational numbers to guarantee a valid polyhedral embedding. Finally, to increase the scalability of our algorithm, we offer the option to subdivide the bounding box of the object into uniformly sized 3D blocks in which independent kinetic partitionings are operated. The lowest curve in each graph indicates the most efficient subdivision schemes given the number of planar shapes. The last step consists in extracting the output surface from the kinetic partition. We operate a min-cut to find an inside-outside labeling of the polyhedra, the output surface being defined as the interface facets between inside and outside. This strategy guarantees the output surface to be watertight, intersection-free, and decomposable into convex polyhedra. We measure the quality of a possible output surface X with a 2-term energy. D is the data fidelity term, checking that labels are coherent with the orientation of the normals, assuming that the normals point toward the outside. V measures the complexity of the output surface by its area, where lower is simpler. Lambda is a parameter balancing these 2 terms. We typically set it to 0.5 for a good trade-off between geometric accuracy and number of output facets. We now present some results. We tested our algorithm on points generated by multiview stereo on a variety of objects and scenes. Freeform objects are approximated by compact polygon meshes, whereas piecewise planar structures are reconstructed with fine details. Our algorithm performs best from laser acquisition, where the frequent occlusions contained in the scans are effectively handled by our kinetic approach. The latter naturally fills in empty space in between planar shapes. On this example, our algorithm produces a concise polygon mesh of 12,000 facets. Each digit is nicely represented by a few facets. In contrast, the mesh produced by the traditional approximation pipeline, screen Poisson then edge collapse, at the same output complexity, fails to preserve the structure of the digits. When the number of input shapes is higher than a few hundred, the benefits of our kinetic partition become significant compared to a plain arrangement, with, here, a reduction by a factor 1000 of the number of cells, by a factor 20 of the construction time, and without exceeding memory of a standard computer. Extracting the surface mesh from a kinetic partition is also much faster than from a plane arrangement. Moreover, the output model produced from a plane arrangement has a low simplicity score, illustrated by numerous visual artifacts. Our algorithm is robust to noise as long as planar shapes can be decently extracted from input points. At 1% noise, some shapes become missing or inaccurately detected, leading to an overly complex output mesh. Our algorithm also returns an accurate model when adding 500% of outlier in the object bounding box, but starts compacting the structure around 1500% of added outliers. In the two right examples, the points clouds have been progressively subsampled from the bottom left to the top right of the cube in a linear manner. Our algorithm is resilient to such heterogeneous sampling as long as shapes can be retrieved in the low density of points. Our algorithm is competitive with shape approximation pipelines that fail to preserve the structure of regular objects. Note that more advanced shape detection techniques can be used with our algorithm to reconstruct polygon mesh at specific abstraction levels. We evaluated and compared our approach with 7 methods against several quality and performance metrics on a collection of 42 models. Our algorithm outclasses other methods in terms of accuracy for 33 of the 42 models. The accuracy gain is particularly high against the surface approximation pipelines which fail to recover the structure of the objects. The approximation pipelines are of interest on complex models for quickly returning output mesh with low accuracy. The scenarios where the algorithm does not necessarily deliver the most accurate results concern some simple models with a very low number of planar shapes. For such very simple cases, the use of a kinetic partition is not necessary, even if it remains a good compromise between accuracy, simplicity, and performance. To illustrate the applicability of our method, we propose a simple city modeling pipeline from airborne LiDAR. After classifying input points into ground, building, and clutter with the Seagull classification package, and after detecting planar shapes from building and ground points, we use our algorithm to reconstruct the buildings with the CityGML Lot 2 representation. To conclude this talk, the kinetic data structures I presented have been designed and implemented to be an efficient alternative to plane arrangements, and with the intention to become somehow the equivalent of the Delaunay triangulations for piecewise planar geometry. While the main idea is simple and natural, it allows us, for the first time, to simulate the collision of polygons in the 3D space in an efficient and scalable manner. This data structure is also generic and not restricted to surface reconstruction problem. We demonstrated its potential for image over-segmentation and object polygonalization in 2D, and for concise surface reconstruction of structure objects in 3D. The methods offer high robustness to imperfect data, high scalability, and are competitive with respect to existing approaches. There is room for improving these data structures, especially in 3D. First, our primitives grow at uniform speed. One could imagine adapt their speed to scenes priors. A merge and split based refinement of 3D kinetic partitions would also be a valuable tool for 3D problems. This work has been done in collaboration with Jean-Philippe Baucher, and for the object polygonalization application with Mu-Xing Li and Renaud Marley. Codes and datasets can be found on the webpage of the INRIA Titan team. Our kinetic data structures should be also available soon in the Seagull library. Thank you for listening to this presentation.